Welcome to this sixth day where we look at the decathlon's first discipline of the second day, the high hurdles. There's the lineup. Nevsky, Degtyarev of the Soviet Union, Ludwig, and we're looking at one of the favorites, Torsten Voss of the German Democratic Republic, who is a good high hurdler. Only 4 of these athletes have made it through, and Voss is looking the better, and with him is taking his fellow countryman Stefan Grumt. The 2 East Germans getting away from Alexander Nevsky of the Soviet Union, the Pole coming up in 4th, and they cross the line almost together, 14.47, and that will collect 905 points on those international scoring tables. The second heat, Siegfried Wentz, Kratchmer is there, Hingsen is there, Daley Thompson is there, Freimut is there, and Stefan Niklaus. Daley Thompson putting himself to a severe test because he's injured his leg, but he's up to the first total. First Kratchmer is going well, and the one's fallen over, but Thompson going on, taking Hingsen with him on the far side. Siegfried Wentz. Wentz gets away just by half a yard. Kratchmer is second, maybe. A photograph for the line, but they were all together, and that's the most important thing as far as the leader, Daley Thompson, is concerned. Not much between those points. Wentz 9.47, Kratchmer 9.28, Hingsen 9.20, 1 point down, Thompson 919. And after the 6th discipline, Daley Thompson's lead still a wide one, 5,405 points. He's leading from 5,286 to Jurgen Hingsen. Still a miserable day as the tall West German, 6 feet 6.5, goes into the discus circle. This one of his better disciplines. Being tall, long-armed, he should be a good discus thrower. A little bit tentative, and you can see that he's bypassed that 40-meter mark by about 4 meters, perhaps a little less. Large West German contingent in the crowd. Daley Thompson warming up in the background. 43 meters and 30 centimeters for Hingsen. And that's going to score him 749 points. This is his fellow countryman, Siggy, or Siegfried Wentz, who pushed him so hard when he set that world record. And that's a fine throw. Wentz throwing well. 1 and 2 in the German championships when Jurgen Hingsen broke that world record. .44 meters and 98 centimeters. 781 points. Daley Thompson, whose very best ever in a competition of this caliber is 45 meters and 48, would settle for a discus throw of anywhere near that, anything over 42 or so meters, and that's good enough for Thompson, who knows he must give a little ground to the West Germans, perhaps in the throwing events where they are bigger, heavier and stronger, but in fact he looks delighted. This British athlete, who is the reigning Olympic champion, European champion and Commonwealth champion, rubs his hands. 44 meters and 46 centimeters, 771 points, and he stays ahead of both the West Germans. Stefan Niklaus now from Switzerland, good sprinter, and he's a long discus thrower. He too, long arm. Oh, that's a good throw. Niklaus much nearer the 50-meter mark. Clearly delighted. Thrilled with that. In the 7th discipline, not too tired, despite the fact it's been a hard competition. 48 meters and 74 centimeters. He carries on 849 points, and that moves him into 3rd place. 6.176 for Thompson. Hingsen 6.035, Wentz 5.962, and Niklaus equal 3rd, 5.962, 3 events to go. the decathlon pole vault. Always a long drawn-out affair. Wentz there, clear at 420, then 440, then 460, and he's had 2 failures at 470. This is his 3rd and final attempt at that height. Oh, and he's clear. Now, Wentz, 470. That's a massive score of 981 points, but his biggest rivals are still in the competition. Hingsen is still in, Thompson is still in. And Freimut is also still in, the East German. He too sails over clear, carries that same score, pushes his own personal total on and on. 4 meters 80, 1,005 points, Daley Thompson. Good pole vaulter at his best. Sways back and sails over with inches to spare. What a competitor. There's his celebration, a back somersault. Large British contingent here to cheer on their champion. He's won every major championship that's come his way. 5 meters over 5 meters, and that's a big score. 1,052. Jurgen Hingsen's 3rd and final attempt to match Thompson at this height. Don't think he's going to do it. And again, he has to give a little more ground and lose a few more points to Thompson, the Britisher, who's clearly in very good form indeed. Thompson has now put the bar at 5 meters 10. He's had 1 failure at this height. If he could clear it, he would get a massive 1,075 points. Oh, and he looks clear. That's his highest score in a major decathlon at pole vault, and away he goes again. Pushes his score to 7,251. And the gap between him and the Germans is growing. 7,063 Hingsen, Freimut of East Germany 6,950, Wentz of West Germany 6,943. And that's a big margin that Thompson has now. A chance to see the new world record holder in the discus, Yuri Dumchev, but he's under some pressure. This is the giant Soviet discus thrower who broke the world record just 2 weeks before coming to these championships, and he's way, way short of the qualifying standard of 63 meters. It's the first time he's been out of the Soviet Union. The first time he's rubbed shoulders with the other greats of discus throwing. He's a massive man. 22 stones, 6 feet 5, Yuri Dumchev. All not enough, and he goes out of the competition. He arrived as world record holder, but doesn't make the final of the discus. Bryggare of Czechoslovakia does, so too does Daley's, Valiant of Czechoslovakia, Humonen, one of the Finns, Kulichenko of the Soviet Union, Schult of East Germany, Cooper of the Bahamas, Mac Wilkins of the United States, and 4 others go into that final. The 100 meters hurdles semi-final for women, the first 4 to go through. Page of the United States runs in lane 1, Chardonnay of France in 2, Knabe, one of the favorites, in lane 3, Filsinger of West Germany in 4, Bisarova of the Soviet Union in 5, Shirley Strong of Great Britain in 6, Zagorcheva of Bulgaria in 8, and Siska of Hungary in 9. Looking at Kerstin Knabe, the 1977 European junior champion, who's gone on to be the bronze in Athens since then. She runs in lane 3, and she runs very well, but Felsinger on her right is going well, so too are the Soviets. The 2 Soviets coming away, or the Soviet and the Bulgarian, and it's the Bulgarian, Zagorcheva, is going to get there first, and then the East German girl, Knabe. Or was it Bisarova? But certainly the first four were Zagorcheva, Bisarova, Knabe, and then Shirley Strong. 12.75, a very fast time indeed. The win plus 0.7. Those four girls will go into the final. The second semi-final is Bettine Jahn of East Germany, Benita Fitzgerald of USA, Petrova of the Soviet Union, Denk of West Germany, Reifstahl of East Germany, Nunn of Australia, Maccabi of France, and Judy Livermore of Great Britain. And another very strong East German girl runs in lane 1, Bettine Jahn, who is the European indoor champion, 7th in the Olympic Games back in 1980, but has been improving a great deal since then. And the East German girl gets away and leads at the first and the second hurdle and takes with her Petrova of the Soviet Union in lane 3. The West German girl is going well, and the other East German girl, Reifstahl, in lane 5. No doubt about the winner, though, Bettine Jahn of East Germany, that's the German Democratic Republic, then Natalia Petrova of the Soviet Union, who runs in lane 3, then Benita Fitzgerald of the United States, and Cornelia Reifstahl of East Germany finishes in 4th place. 12.76 her winning time. The following wind a little stronger. The hurdles move up to the height for the men. 3 feet 6, again 10 barriers. And a little bit of that cloud beginning to lift as we see the first semi-final. The rain has stopped, the wind is still quite strong. Bakash of Hungary goes in lane 1. Foster of the United States, one of the favorite in 2. He's drawn next to the other strong American, Willie Gault, in 3. Then Munkelt of East Germany, the reigning Olympic champion. Prokofiev of the Soviet Union. Casañas is failed to turn up from Cuba. Mark Holtham of Great Britain goes in lane 7. And Costello of the Dominican Republic in lane 8. And the Americans drawn together, the two men in red, Foster and Willie Gault. Foster and Willie Gault running well, Munkelt trying to chase them. It's going to be an American-dominated scene, and it's Greg Foster of the United States from Willie Gault of the United States. 13.24 the winning time, very fast indeed, and very fluent hurdling. The key to that is good sprinting, and my word, he's a good sprinter. The 4th man to qualify was Bakash of Hungary there. But look at the two Americans finishing ahead of the reigning Olympic champion from East Germany, Thomas Munkelt. Now the second semi-final with the American Sam Turner in 1, McCoy of Canada in 2. Wright of Australia in 3, Maracho of Spain in 4. Bryggare, who will be cheered all the way for Finland and stands a very good medal chance, in 5. Oshin Kanat of East Germany in 6, and then Radev in lane 8. And the tall blonde Finn is doing exceptionally well. He's holding off Mark McCoy, and he's certainly beating Sam Turner, and this crowd are going wild as Arto Bryggare breaks the tape first in very fast time. He's the man who set a Finnish and Scandinavian record in his heat of 13.44, and he's looking good for a medal now. Marvellous place for him. Bryggare 13.5 from Turner of USA, McCoy of Canada, and Radev of Bulgaria. They will make the final. On the far side of the track, from the commentary position and the finishing line, the first semi-final of the women's 200 metres with Boyd of Australia in lane 1, Masula of Italy in 2, Nuneva of Bulgaria in 3, Maijama of Finland in lane 4, Florence Griffith of USA in 5, Olkhogovina in the Soviet Union in 6, Kathy Cook of Great Britain in 7, and Grace Jackson drawn right on the outside in lane 8. Kathy Cook of Great Britain drawn in lane 7 is running well. So is Florence Griffith in lane 5 in the all red of the United States. So is the Bulgarian girl in lane 3, Emilia Nuneva. Emilia Nuneva seems to be being overtaken by Florence Griffith, and Kathy Cook appears to be in 3rd or 2nd place there. So that was a fine run to the line, the time 22.41. Florence Griffith of the United States is the winner, and she won in fine style. Kathy Cook of Great Britain 2nd, Nuneva of Bulgaria 3rd, and the Jamaican girl Grace Jackson, who was right on the outside, she finished 4th, and those 4 will go through to the final. In the second semi-final, it's Randy Gibbons of the United States in 1, Marita Koch, the world record holder, in 2, Joan Baptiste of Great Britain 3, then the Commonwealth record holder and champion in 4, Merlin Otti, Gachet of France goes in 5, Kacperczyk of Poland in 6, Georgieva of Bulgaria, the little girl, in lane 7, and Angela Bailey of Canada, who's gone rocketing off on the outside in lane 8. Look at Angela Bailey go away from Georgieva. But suddenly Merlin Otti in lane 4, the Jamaican girl looking promising, and so too does Marita Koch, the world record holder, in lane 2 in the blue and white of East Germany. So it's East Germany and Merlin Otti finishing just a little the faster, and Angela Bailey, in fact, it might have been Otti onto the line first. And I think it was Kacperczyk of Poland that collected that 4th spot into the final. 22.67, Marita Koch looking untravelled. 22.67 her time. Merlin Otti 2nd, Bailey 3rd, Kacperczyk of Poland 4th, and Joan Baptiste of Great Britain run out of that final. Only 4 go through. The men's 200 meters, first semi-final with Kau of America in lane 1, Sharp of Great Britain in 2, Sokolov of the Soviet Union in 3, Menea, the world record holder from Italy, in lane 4, the Olympic champion, Leroy Reed of Jamaica in 5, Da Silva of Brazil in 6, Desai Williams of Canada in 7, and the young East German Frank Emmelmann on the outside for East Germany. Menea, been training in Senegal during the winter, Olympic champion. Not the world record holder, that was set at altitude. But this is a good run. Sokolov of the Soviet Union, Menea hanging back at the moment. Reed of Jamaica is ahead of him. Da Silva of Brazil running remarkably well in lane 6. The Brazilians have been a surprise here. Emmelmann runs him close to the line. That was interesting. Menea had to work hard to make his place to the final. It was Da Silva, the 19-year-old Brazilian, that got there first from Emmelmann, from Menea, from Kau of the United States. 20.56 with a following breeze down the home straight of plus 3.4 meters. The second semi-final, Muravyev of the Soviet Union in 1, Egbeniki of Nigeria in 2, Simeon Arto of Italy in 3, Diallo of Senegal in 4, Alan Wells, the Olympic champion at 100 meters in 5, Calvin Smith, the world record holder from the United States at 100 meters in lane 6, and Bruce Frayne of Australia in 7, with Boussama of France in lane 8. Alan Wells, the very sturdy Britisher, all in white, with Calvin Smith outside him. They're 1 and 2 at the moment. Simeonati of Italy closing the gap on Egbeniki. They look the first 4. Muravyev is shut out of it. Calvin Smith to the line first from Alan Wells, from Simeonati of Italy, and Egbeniki of Nigeria finishes 4th. 20.29 for Calvin Smith, and I must say, look, he made that very fast time look very easy indeed. Less of a wind too, plus 1.3 meters. Calvin Smith looking good for gold. 3 3/4 laps of the track now, the 1500 meters semi-final, and what a lineup it is. 12 runners come to the start line, and they really are strong. Bussa there from East Germany, Nemeth of Austria, Becker of West Germany, Amara of Ireland, and Mai of Italy, Saido Awita of Morocco, Kubista of Czechoslovakia, and it's Kubista, in fact, all in white, that goes ahead of Said Awita, and it's Mai of Italy in the blue, followed by the East German Andreas Bussa. Those 4 at the moment looking the strong. 7.60. Jan Kubistu, 6 feet 4 tall, very tall for a 1500 meter runner, and it's only the first 4 plus the 4 fastest losers that make what looks to be one of the strongest finals of these World Championships. The man with the red band on his chest coming through is the West German Uwe Becker, and moving up on the outside is the Austrian Robert Nemeth, an Austrian, tall with a white top, wearing 41. Still, though, the Czechoslovakian leads. Now from the East German, Andreas Bussa, all in blue. The Italian Mai is dropping back as the Austrian Nemeth takes up the lead. And the West German Uwe Becker drops back, and so too does this man, Said Awita. Look out for him, 5.49. He's got a green top and red shorts, the find of the season. Not only the North African champion, but the fastest man in the world this year over 1500 meters at 3:32.54. And he's also got very good 800 meter time of 1:44.38. So he's got blistering finishing speed, and there he is, tucked about 6th place. And the man coming up from the outside is the brilliant American Steve Scott, wearing 918, all in red. A very fast finisher, 6 times American champion. Californian board, now resides in Tempe, Arizona, with his wife Kim and his son Kerry, and he's set 5 American records outdoors between 1,500 meters and 3,000 meters. Honed himself for this World Championship, running fewer races on the continent, so look out for Steve Scott, who's running about 5th at the moment. The 2 men in blue, East Germany and Italy, Andreas Bussa and Stefano Mai. Then the Czechoslovakian, who's dropping back, and Graham Williamson, the tall Scot for Great Britain, coming up into the reckoning. Graham Williamson running on the shoulder of Bussa. Graham Williamson, who's had a brilliant junior career, but has been a little injured leading up to these championships. Now Saeed Awita around the outside and on the shoulder of the American Steve Scott, and indeed prepared to take up some of the running. Saeed Awita, and they take the bell. 400 meters to go, and there's still a lot of boxing and coxing. One of the Spaniards coming through, looking good, and there's still, that was Gonzalez of Spain, who beat Sebastian Coe in Paris early this year. Bussa runs for the line. Saeed Awita goes. There's 300 meters to go. Steve Scott finding himself in a good position, and Graham Williamson lost for pace and drops back. The West German, Uwe Becker, goes forward, and it really is a tight race for that 4th place. The Czechoslovakian Kubista coming into it. The Spaniard Gonzalez is finding it hard to finish. Saeed Awita of Morocco, with Steve Scott of America, and they're that comfortable they're looking over their shoulder to see who else will be joining that final with them. It's East and West Germany in battle together. Andreas Bussa, and he's being overtaken on the line by Jan Kubista, but I think those first 5 will make it. That means that the West German Uwe Becker will go as well to that final. 3:36.44 the finishing time. Scott, Awita, Kubista, Becker and Bussa, I'm sure, will make it. Gonzalez will have to wait to see, the Spaniard. Now the second great semi-final, which really looks like an Olympic final. When you realize that Steve Ovett is there, the Olympic 800-meter champion. Steve Cram is there, the reigning European champion. Abascal of Spain is there. John Walker, the former Olympic champion at 1,500 meters. Tom Byers, the good front-running American, is there. Sidney Marie, the South African-born but now American citizen. There's a little bit of barging. Steve Ovett sorts himself out a little bit of a place. Zdravkovic of Yugoslavia is up, and suddenly Tom Byers, who's a brilliant front runner for USA, has gone off into a very big lead. Tom Byers, who was 2nd in the United States Championship, and back in '81 had the pleasure and privilege of beating Steve Ovett in Oslo at 1,500 meters. Now for Ireland, it's Ray Flynn, who runs in America and runs very strongly indeed. The tall pole is Kurek, who's getting tucked in, and Tom Byers leads away. Steve Ovett nicely positioned in about 3rd place and running wide, and the other great favourite, Steve Cram, who is both the European and Commonwealth champion. The tall figure is 1 from the back, but slowly moving through. Mike Boyd of Kenya halfway down the field as Tom Byers still cuts out the pace. Tremendous standard in this 1,500 meters. Remember the time of the first semi-final, 3:36.44. Remember too that only 4 go through by right, and the 4 fastest loses from the 2 semi-finals. So Byers, from the Irishman there, who's looking good, Ray Flynn, running a little wide of him, the Italian Patrick Nani in blue, and Cram begins to move up. This very tall youngster, still only 22, Steve Cram, goes on the shoulder of his guide and mentor, Steve Ovett of Great Britain. 2 very good British athletes in this, an event which they have dominated, Great Britain that is, for the last 4 or 5 years. Sebastian Coe out of these championships, but what a lot of talent they've got apart from him. Ovett cutting himself loose from the pack, running on the shoulder of Patrick Nani of Italy, the Italian champion. Tom Byers is overtaken by Mike Boyd, now 34, a brilliant career behind him, has had to miss the last Olympic Games, the last 2 Olympic Games, in fact. Boyd goes clear, and Cram comes wide on his shoulder, and Cram settles on the shoulder of the Kenyan. Ray Flynn is in third, and Steve Ovett is nicely poised as well as they come up to receive the bell this time. Abascal of Spain is on Ovett's shoulder, and the big dark-clad New Zealander John Walker is back in about 5th place. There he is with the flash of New Zealand on his shoulder. And Sidney Marie has made no challenge, and he's right at the back of the field with the pole there. That's a disappointment for the brilliant American-South African Sidney Marie. Away goes Mike Boyd, and Cram, even taller, goes away as well. Abascal is there, and Steve Ovett looking for Walker over his shoulder, and then the Irishman Ray Flynn. A battle, remember, for first 4 places to be there by right. And suddenly Steve Cram has cut loose and has left the Kenyan groping for speed, and Abascal goes with him, and Ovett runs wide and takes Walker with him, and this is going to be a battle for the line. It really is. Steve Cram running away, Abascal and Steve Ovett in second, and that's going to be a fight as Deleuze comes up and joins them in 4th, and John Walker of New Zealand in 5th. 3:35.77. That's faster than the first heat. The first 4 will certainly make it, and I'm certain that John Walker of New Zealand will go through as well. Great Britain proud to have 2 in that final. The 100 meters hurdles final for women. The favorite in lane 1, Benita Jahn. There she is wearing 2:08. Shirley Strong of Great Britain in 2. Fitzgerald of the United States in 3. Knabe, another favorite from East Germany in 4. Bisarova of the Soviet Union in 5. Zagorcheva of Bulgaria in 6. Reifstahl of East Germany in 7. Petrova of the Soviet Union in 8. And look at the girl in lane 1 streaking away. That's Benita Jahn. She's going away from the other East German girl, Kerstin Knabe. Coming up is the challenge from Zagorcheva of Bulgaria, with the Soviet girl in 4th place. So the European indoor champion runs faster than the world record, 12:35 to 12:36, but when she looks at the wind speed gain, she finds that the wind is too strong for that world record to count. Just outside the allowable limit of 2 meters per second, but what a demonstration of sprint hurdling. There she is, the European indoor champion, leaves Shirley Strong and the American girl Benita Fitzgerald, but takes with her Kerstin Knabe in lane 4. The 2 girls in the blue and white of East Germany. Coming up in lane 6 is Zagorcheva of Bulgaria, who's done well in these championships, and Petrova of the Soviet Union, but it's 1 and 2 for East Germany in that final of the 100 meters hurdles for women, and that really was first-class hurdling from the German girls. Big smile, the world champion, 25-year-old Bettine Jahn, who headed the world lists and came here and lived up to her reputation in that extraordinarily fast time, but you can see the wind speed is plus 2.4 meters per second. The allowable limit is 2 meters per second for world records to count internationally. The 100 meters hurdles final for men. Very, very strong turnout from the Americans here. Bakos of Hungary in 1. McCoy, the Commonwealth champion from Canada, in 2. A strong American Sam Turner in 3. Munkelt, the reigning Olympic champion, in 4. Then Greg Foster, surely the favorite, in lane 5. The US champion, big cheer for him as he goes to his blocks. He's got Radev of Bulgaria in 6. Arto Bryggare, who's also receiving many cheers from this crowd. Largely Finnish, of course. And Willie Gault, the very strong American, in lane 6, who's already got a gold medal from the 4x100 meters relay. There'll be tremendous noise during this final as they slowly settle. Bryggare seeking Finland's first medal of the championships. The Americans wanting a 1, 2, 3. They get away. And Foster in lane 5. Oh, and Turner has hit a hurdle, hit 2 hurdles. Bryggare is with Foster. What a race. Oh, Foster clashes that, and just holds it to the line. But Finland have their medal. My goodness, there were hurdles going all over the place. Sam Turner of the United States, who was second in the US Championships, he knocked the first 2 hurdles down, and I think if we see that again, Greg Foster of the United States, who wins, knocks the last 3 hurdles down, and only his strength saves him from defeat from Arto Bryggare in lane 7, the tall, blonde Finn. And Willie Gault, who's with Arto Bryggare. It may take a photograph to separate them, but I don't think they got to Greg Foster in lane 5. These 3 break away. Munkelt, the Olympic champion, trailing behind the American. No medal for him, but look at that as he crashes hurdle after hurdle. Foster, but still enough strength to get to the line first, and then it's Bryggare, and then Willie Gault. World champion America, but the Finn takes a lap of honour with this 50,000 crowd in raptures. Look at the crashing of the hurdles as Willie Gault throws himself, and so too does Greg Foster. This is Greg Foster's run for the line. It's Foster confirmed in 13.42. Bryggare the silver medal, only 0.02 of a second ahead of Willie Gault. McCoy of Canada in 4th. The final event at the end of 2 grueling days in the decathlon. It really isn't about who should win this. If you see the gap there, it says 21 seconds. That means that Thompson has an advantage over his nearest rival of 21 seconds or so if they run about 4:20, 4:30 pace for 1,500 meters. Thompson's lead, a massive one, 8,075, as you can see there. It really is big. Over Hingsen's 7,913. With Siegfried Wentz of West Germany, 7,879. And as they apparently trundle off, remember this has been a grueling day, the high jump is still in progress, and Carlo Tranhart, one of the West Germans, going over at 2:26, and I think we'll be seeing, there he is, Carlo Tranhart of West Germany, 2:26, looking very strong indeed. Slow motion shows him to be taking off way outside the high jump bar, but the high jump in relatively early stages as these decathletes get underway. They get underway, and Daley Thompson back in 5th place as the Soviet athlete goes off. Here's the man that Daley Thompson has to watch and keep the gap between him as Daley Thompson, keep the gap between him and the 2 West Germans at less than 100 meters or so, and then the gold medal and title is his. We've got the Russian going off, Alexander Nevsky, who's a good 1,500-meter runner. But remember, the decathlon is about the distribution of effort over 10 events over 2 days. This is Sereda of the Soviet Union. His high jump attempt at 2:26 and goes clear. Very springy takeoff indeed. Of course, all eyes will be on the first Chinese athlete to hold a world record for many years as Daley Thompson keeps going and chases the pole. The pole is Darius Ludwig, and he's trundling after Hingsen, and Hingsen is running with his fellow countryman Siggy Venks. There's no doubt that they're not going to get away from Daley Thompson. The London-born Thompson, who has won the Commonwealth title, the European title, the Olympic title, came here after 7 weeks of injury and unable to train. In the time that he went away, this very tall West German who's running second in your picture there has taken his world record and raised that standard to 8,777 points. The Russian Nevsky is getting away. The 2 West Germans can't run any faster. They'd love to run away from Thompson, but he got them in his sights. The pole is between him and them, Darius Ludwig. He looks over his shoulder. The gap of 21 seconds is going to remain. There's no way that Thompson will give up this title. What's more, he's won about 6 of the 10 events. He's dug into his reserves and his resources to overcome that injury, and it's been a courageous performance. It won't be a world record, but it'll mean beating the world record holder and taking a title which will mean that his place in history is assured. Thompson closing the gap on the West Germans. There's no way that they can get away from him. 2 West Germans have fought bravely and boldly. Hingsen, who really lost his battle when things went badly in the high jump. As the Russian goes on, Nevsky who's way back in the placings. Here's Jurgen Hingsen. Meanwhile, a chance to see the Chinese world record holder in the high jump. Sailing over, that's Zhu Jianhua, the 20-year-old Chinese who earlier this year set a world record, and a marvelous one at that. 2 meters 37, 7 feet 9 1/4. But the crowd roaring on, these decathletes who must be exhausted. They've raced, they've run, jumped, and through in the rain and in the cold. It's brighter now, the sun is out, and although Hingsen is trying desperately to get away, the gap will never be allowed to be enough. And Thompson making sure that the gap will close and that Great Britain has its first World Championships in these games. And what a series of titles he's got. He really must be regarded as the world's outstanding all-around athlete by any measure. And there's Hingsen bravely running for the line in just outside 4:20, but Thompson will be inside 4:30, and as he crosses the line, he knows that victory is his. 25 years of age. He was in the Olympic Games at 18 years of age when he finished 18th and set his mind to become the next Olympic champion, and he did just that. A truly remarkable performance. Jurgen Hingsen, and I must say these men in the endeavours over the 10 disciplines that stretch over the 2 days become firm friends. There's a camaraderie amongst these sportsmen that's rare in any other event. Daley Thompson, still enough energy to jog off for a lap of honour, even though he admitted that after the first event he was aching all over and had pain in that leg. Thompson 8.666. He now has 3 of the 5 highest winning scores in decathlon of all time. Hingsen, who pushed him so hard, 8.561. Well, we've said before that the Finns have a real feel for the javelin, and they have in this a potential gold medalist in Tiina Lillak, who only a month ago threw a world record for women, 74 meters 76 centimeters, 245 feet 3, and that's just a little bit higher than that great tower that looms over this stadium. Now this is Fatima Whitbread from Great Britain, 22 years of age, coached by her mother Margaret. She's the women's 3A's champion and the United Kingdom champion. This her first round throw. Oh, and that looks a very long throw. Oh, and listen to this crowd. She is obviously delighted. She said part of her strategy would be to try and get a good throw in with the first throw, and that was very near the 70-meter line. Fatima Whitbread, 69 meters and 14 centimeters, 226 feet 10. It's the second longest throw of her life. And here's Tiina Lillak. Ilsa Christina is her actual name. Tiina, she's called. She's born in Helsinki, and she has to respond to that. Oh, and it's a fine throw. Fine throw, chasing out, but not as far. The world record holder, who was a winner in a recent match against Great Britain, and is on every poster around Helsinki, Tiina Lillak, also 22. Her throw not quite as far, and it's 67 meters and 34 centimeters. Second place for her, though. Here's Britain's other great thrower, Tessa Sanderson, third on the all-time list. She threw 64 meters 80 to qualify. She's 27 years of age, and she's the Commonwealth and the United Kingdom record holder, ahead of Fatima Whitbread. Fast and explosive. That too sails out, but not as far. About 64 meters for Tessa Sanderson. She and Fatima Whitbread, there, it's Fatima Whitbread just to go over and congratulate her. Puts her in third place at the end of the first round. And after 3 rounds, The order remains the same. Fatima Whitbread with that enormous opening throw from Tiina Lillak, from Tessa Sanderson, and the Romanian girl in fourth. Now here's the girl who won the European Championship, Anna Veruli, European champion, and she's thrown over 70 meters in her time. That's long, long, long. And is that going to take a medal away from Tessa Sanderson? It looks as though it might. She waits to see. We wait to see. 65.72, it does. It edges her into third place. Well, Tiina Lillak, 67.34 to her credit. Now we see her fifth round throw, and this crowd are almost in prayer, urging her on. She's such a popular character here. Another long throw. It's a good series. Is it enough? Is it over? No, it's just short. And it looks shorter than the 69 meters and 14 centimeters of Fatima Whitbread in the first round. And that means the Finnish girl has one throw left. Maria Colon in the background. There it is, 67.46. She's still in second. Colon, of course, the Olympic champion, the surprise Olympic champion. Tessa Sanderson, can she respond to the Greek girl's throw? Anna Veruli. Tessa Sanderson, Jamaican-born, lives in Britain. Fine, fine thrower, very good heptathlete. Out. Oh, and I don't think it's going to be long enough. She looks over her shoulder and realizes that the medal is not to be hers. Frustration, the wind behind. She stays in fourth. And now we come to the world record holder and this crowd willing her on. They'd love a fairy tale ending. They saw in the women's shot that it was won on the final throw of the competition. Could Tiina Lillak bring back gold and a little more history to finish javelin throwing in front of their home crowd? Oh, it's fast and hard and hard and high and long and long. And she has done it. That is quite extraordinary. Fatima Whitbread threw the longest throw, and it stood for 6 rounds, but the run of sheer delight from Tiina Lillak tells its own story. Finland goes wild, the crowd go wild. Watch the repeat of this magnificent throw as the fairy story comes through. It was a magnificent throw. One can only feel bitter disappointment for Fatima Whitbread, but it takes a great champion to pull it out on the last throw like that. And it's the just rewards for Helsinki and for Finland for staging such a marvelous championships and for having a world record holder in the javelin. And there she is, the silver medal to the British girl. Veruli of Greece gets the bronze. Tessa Sanderson denied any medal, and the world champion is a Finn in the javelin, and no one will deny them that. The high jump now. As this crowd settles down, this is Mogenberg of West Germany. He's in at 2:29, 7'6". He's got 10 seconds left to jump. Dietmar Mogenberg. Owen goes clear. Mogenberg threatening for a medal position. And here's this young man, Zhu Jianhua, from the Shanghai Education Institute. Fast attacking run, and what a thrill he gives this crowd as he goes clear. He's 6'4". There he is, 2:29. He's gone clear at 7'6". 8'44". Paklin of the Soviet Union. Acknowledges the crowd. 3 good Soviet jumpers here. Another tall man, 6'5", Igor Paklin. Tyke Peacock, the American. There's his jumps. He's in at 2:29. Good athlete this, only 6'1" tall. Brings a delight to the crowd. Tyke Peacock. And now we see another Russian, Adveenko. 6'6", this man. Gennady Adveenko, the 3rd of the Soviet jumpers. And all Finland celebrating in the background. Look at the delight on his face. We haven't seen much of him in European circles. 2'29", 7'6", and now for Dwight Stones. Bronze in the 72 and 76 Olympic, former world record holder. Oh, and Stones goes clear, this remarkable man. They call him the Tower of Babel. He never stops talking, and he is a marvelous jumper. 6 times the US champion. And there is Zhu, Mogenberg, Paklin, Peacock, Adveenko, Stones, all clear at 2'29". There's this young man who's missing his Chinese food, he tells me, but still a great competitor. And Adveenko now coming in for a pressure jump and goes clear. Now that's a remarkable jump. At 2:32, 7'7¼ . And that means he's jumping for a medal now. He's put the pressure on the rest of this jump field. He comes in quite fast, lays back a long last stride, arches his back high in that Fosbury flop, invented by the American Dick Fosbury in the 68 Olympic Games. The delight there for all to see, because he's a first-time jumper at 2:32. Now, Zhu has had one failure at 2:32. Looking for the first medal for China, 60 or 70 years. The People's Republic, oh, and brushes it off. He has one final jump left. The Chinese delegation watching there. Jan Mogenberg with 2 failures at 2:32, 7'7¼ . Dietmar Mogenberg of West Germany, his 3rd and final attempt. Takes it off and goes out of the competition. It means, I think, that Zhu is in for a medal. This is his 3rd and final attempt, but if he makes it, because he made 2:29 on his first jump, he could get the bronze. Very fast, brushes it off, but I think it's going to be a medal. Zhu Jianhua. Dwight Stones, though, could press him. If he makes it clear, then a medal is his. Twice an Olympic bronze medalist. He knows what pressure is all about. Oh, and brushes it off with his thigh. Thanks the crowd for their support. Marvelous showman. Tyke Peacock of the United States, 2:32, 7'7¼ . 2 failures at this height. Oh, and makes it. Quite remarkable, a lifetime best for the American. The shortest man in the last half dozen. He's only 6'1", but he's a beautiful athlete. And Tyke Peacock has gone clear. Runs in fast, gathers himself, compresses the legs, opens up the spring, and away he goes. 7'7¼ , a lifetime best and a certain medal. And the man who's in battle with him for that medal, Gennady Avdikin, 6'6", 2 failures at 2:34, but clear at 2:32. So, jumping for gold. 7'8". Very quiet. Everyone stayed behind. Marvelous atmosphere in the stadium. They've seen Finland win a gold, and they'll remember this day for many years. Down it goes, but even so, because he was the first round jumper in the last round, he's still ahead on count back, and the gold medal is looking good. New high jumper, we haven't seen him very much at all, but he's very impressive indeed. Brushes it off with his hips, but what a talent we've seen from Gennady Adveenko. Beaten the world record holder, goes out of the competition and leaves it for Tyke Peacock to have one final attempt to take the gold. He'll have to reach into new territory for the second time this evening. He's already jumped to lifetime best. 9:09, Tyke Peacock. Californian from Fresno, University of Kansas. #1 in the world back in 1981, but not since then. And here he is, challenging for the world title. If he fails, gold goes to the Russian. Bronze to the man from China. Silver is his reward. Lovely disciplined crowd in Helsinki, as they've been throughout these championships. Knowledgeable and disciplined. 2 failures against him at 2:34. His third and final attempt. And it's not to be for the American, but he'll be delighted with his silver medal. And he goes over to congratulate the tall Russian there, Gennady Adveenko. And this whole crowd will congratulate Jianhua CHN, taking a bronze.